What's up, man? Craig James here on Twitter at Masculine Design. Give me a follow there. I'm going to talk to you this morning about value. A lot of men consider what it means to be a high value man, and oftentimes I think men make the mistake of seeing that solely through the lens of intersexual dynamics. They look at it through the lens of how much value do women ascribe to me as a man. And I think that's a partial metric. And to view that as the whole, it is a failing on our part. You do not view yourself solely in terms of the way that others view you. And certainly you don't view yourself solely in the way that women or any other small demographic or even significant demographic might view you. There's a more holistic picture that needs to be taken into account. So when we think of what it means to be a high value man, what that really means is how much value you have as a man in the eyes of others. So when we look at intersexual dynamics, we look at what do women value. They value a man who is fit. They value a man who is assertive. They value a man who has high earnings potential. They value a man who can lead himself well, who can exude self-discipline in order to achieve worthy goals. He is a man who has a long-term picture in mind. He does not just live for today, but he is preparing and planning for the successes of tomorrow as well. And there are many other things that women value, but those are some of the primary ones. Now again, our value as a man is not only determined by the value ascribed to us from women. When we look at the money that we earn, how much money we earn. So when women look at a man and they ascribe some level of value to his earnings potential or how much money he is currently earning, that is directly proportional to the value that employers or customers place on us as men. If the value that we have to give to a potential employer and to customers who might buy from us is subpar, our earnings potential is going to be subpar as well. So we need to be working on building our value in terms of our marketability of selling our services or some product that we have created. A lot of men I hear complaining about, I deserve more money. My employer's screwing me, they're not paying me enough. Well, when you're doing a task that your employer can only sell to their customers for $50 an hour, you're not going to get paid $50 an hour. You're going to get paid some fraction of that. Probably somewhere along the lines of half of that or less, because there are many other costs that your employer has to cover that go above and beyond just your salary. So if you want to build yourself to a higher value man in terms of your marketability, your ability to earn more money, you have to look at the skill set that you have, and maybe you need to build that skill set. Maybe you need to build a skill set that commands more money. You need to build a skill set that can be sold to the end user at a higher dollar value. So whether you're selling it or you work for somebody who is selling your services, if what you're doing commands higher value in the eyes of the ones who are ultimately buying and using it, you will earn more money. Now, a big problem that I see as well is that many men have valuable skills, but they aren't able to identify or sell them. And so I posted on Twitter this morning, one of the best things that a man can do if he's struggling with determining what value he has to give to the world is to update his resume. If you haven't updated your resume in a while, go through that process, because what you're doing as you're updating your resume is you are considering the value that you have to give to somebody who would pay you money for that value. So it really forces you to get introspective, to see what skills and experiences you have that are of value to others. particularly in terms of those who would buy those services and skill sets. When you go through that process, you'll start seeing that you have more value to give than maybe you thought at first glance. You start seeing how the experiences that you've gone through, your career up to this point, has positioned you to be a man of value, and likely a man of higher value than you had thought before you had gone through that process. Now, the other aspect of this, which I think is even more critical, when you go through updating your resume, you're doing it understanding that you're likely going to be sitting down face to face with somebody who is going to be interviewing you, who's going to be reviewing that resume and evaluating it for the value you have to give, and then questioning you on that value to make sure that what you're saying aligns with reality. And so what that does is that forces you to think through the process of how are you going to sell yourself? How are you going to sell your services? You know, it's great that you have these experiences and these skills that you can put down on paper. But that's not enough, because when you get in front of the boss or the customer who is ultimately going to be paying for those services, you're going to need to take it a step further and expound upon why those skills that you have are so valuable to him or her. Being able to sell ourselves, guys, is a necessary and crucial skill as a man. If you can't sell yourself, I don't care how much value you have as a man. I don't care how much value the skills you have as a man might be. You will be unable to attain that full value that your skills might otherwise command, because you are not able to articulate and convince others of that value. It's great. You feel like, you should be making 6-7 figures, whatever, because of how valuable your skills are. But if you can't convince anyone else of how valuable those skills are, they're not going to pay for it. So by updating your resume, you're going through that process. What are my skills? What are my experiences? What is the value I have to give? And then how am I going to sell that? How do I position myself so that those who I seek out to pay me for this value will be convinced of the value that I believe I have to provide for them? So you think about being a high value man, it really does require intellectual honesty. You can't live in a state of cognitive dissonance, whether it comes to your style, it comes to your fitness, the money you make, your earnings potential, the network that you have around you. All of that cannot be faked. It can't be faked. It doesn't lie. If you're going out and you're trying to get the attention of women and you're not getting the attention of women, the problem is not them, it's you. You are not selling yourself. You are not displaying the value that women want to see in order to be drawn to your masculine presence as a man. You need to work on that. Same thing in your place of business. If you're not making the money that you think you should make, maybe you don't have the skills that command the money that you think it should. Or maybe you're just not selling yourself. Either way, a change is in order. You can't keep doing the same thing and blaming the world around you for why you're not getting what you want in life. If you don't have what you want, that is on you. It is on you to do what is necessary to actualize the desires that you have for your life and for those who are under your leadership. And that's what it is to be a high value man, guys. Value is in the eye of the beholder. And if you view yourself as being up here and everyone else views you as being down here, where do you think you truly are? Now, you can view yourself very highly, and that's not a bad thing to have self-confidence, sometimes even to have irrational self-confidence. But at the end of the day, if reality does not coincide with what your beliefs are in terms of how much value you have to give to the world and who you are as a man, you are not really that man. And you need to ponder that and think about the changes that need to be made. So that's all I have for you today, men. Hope this encourages you, admonishes you, helps you to understand where you might be falling short so that you can increase your value as a man, which is for your benefit and for the benefit of all those who you are leading and who depend on you to lead them and to lead them well. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe, hit the little bell button so you can be notified as I produce new videos. Hit the like button, share this video on social media with the men in your life who you feel could stand to hear this message, check out my blog at masculinebydesign.com. Give me a follow again on Twitter. My handle is Masculine Design. That's where I'm most active on social media. Finally, if you would like to join a network of other men who are committed to being high-value men, to doing whatever it takes to unleash their desires on the world and in their own lives, check out what my brother Hunter Drew and I are doing inside of the Fraternity of Excellence. You can do that by going to fraternityofexcellence.com. That's it for today, my brothers. Get after it, keep killing it, never settle, stay relentless. I'm out.